Boston gets it to Bryant. Bryant dribbling, has to put it up with the buzzer. Banks it in!
Is this the dagger?
Doing today? Welcome back here today to another episode of the Just Ballin' podcast. And for today's episode, we're going to be reacting to Bleacher Report's full 2-round mock draft after the lottery reveal. So this may be my last reaction mock draft for the pod. I just didn't have time to get like a full kind of different episode out for you guys, as this is my final day in Chicago for the 2024 draft combine. I went to the combine late Sunday night, Monday morning, basically the measurements and all that. I got to participate in the combine, as I mentioned in the last podcast episode. And then Tuesday and Wednesday, pretty much just scrimmage days, 5v5s, guys that are some fringe first rounders like KJ Simpson, Oso Ighodaro, Dylan Jones, like guys like that are competing in. And actually, I don't think, maybe Dylan Jones isn't. But then also fringe second round guys as well. Will they get drafted? Is their stock rising or not? Like Jalen Bridges has done well so far from Baylor. KJ Simpson, I think, was definitely the MVP for the first day, definitely the best player out there, and he's someone that could go in the first round for sure. Today, we're going to be reacting to Jonathan Wasserman, their top mock draft guy or draft guy at Bleacher Report. And if you guys do enjoy this content, over on the Sauce channel, I will be reacting to the Athletics new mock draft over the weekend, so you guys will get that. And then the next episode could be a first mock draft with trades. I think I'm going to get kind of weird with it. I think you guys might get 2 more mock drafts this week. I think I'm going to do one with trades for the pod, and then on the Sauce channel this weekend, I'm going to do one post-combine, because some guys' stock are going to rise a little bit throughout it. I think guys I've fallen in love with, like a Dembona, Reed Shepard, Dalton Connect, have really looked great at this combine that are going to move up than where I maybe originally had them, and we'll see who kind of balls out, because last 2 years, guys have really skyrocketed their draft stock from the combine scrimmages. Now, we just had one game yesterday. Maybe it's going to be KJ Simpson this year, but I don't think he like wowed people enough to really be like, all right, he's a definitive top 20 pick. Like 2 years ago, it was Jalen Williams, Santa Clara, and that worked out for OKC. And then last year, it was Brandon Podziemski. Was he also Illinois? Wait, because Brandon Podziemski was Illinois, and then he also went to Santa Clara. Am I tripping? I'm going to actually just Google this right now so you can see it on the screen if you're watching on YouTube. Brandon Podziemski, I'm pretty sure went, okay, yes, Santa Clara as well. Wait, was Jalen Williams Santa Clara, or am I tripping? Jalen Williams, I don't know why I'm tripping on this. Yeah, he was also Santa Clara. I don't know why I thought it was kind of crazy that 2 Santa Clara guys for the last 2 years have really elevated their draft stock. I just never put the same college connection to the two. So I was like, wait, am I right on that, or am I tripping here? But I knew that Podziemski went to Illinois and then to a different school. I just wanted to double check it was Santa Clara. So yeah, we're going to be reacting to Bleacher Report's full 2-round mock draft today. If you guys do enjoy these on YouTube, feel free to drop a thumbs up. You guys killed it on the ESPN one. And then if you guys are listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, you'll be able to follow along as well. So Bleacher Report is Alex Sarr going number 1 to the Atlanta Hawks, like ESPN did, like I do. That's pretty much, I don't think he's really hurt his draft stock at all. He looked really good in his combine drills on Monday. The shooting was fine. The release is okay, but somebody that's 7'1", that's 18, 19 years old, he looks great right now, and he's only going to get better. It's pretty much still the same like thing with Atlanta. Do they want to maybe win now? Sarr may be not the guy specifically for that, but I don't think anybody is at 1. Like Reese Shea, same issues. Reed Shepard probably could be better day 1, but this team isn't drafting Reed Shepard. I think Ron Holland could take some time as well. Same with Montas Buzelis. So Alex Sarr is probably the guaranteed number 1 pick unless they end up trading out of it, which could happen for sure. Next up, he has Washington going Reese Shea. I think ESPN had this as well. Man, I mean, in my number 2 pick Wizards rebuild, I ended up doing the same thing, and I took Reese Shea number 2. And it's this. I think if it happens, they don't have to move Kyle Kuzma, but I would like to see him get moved at one point throughout the year, because I would like to see Reese Shea get a ton of minutes, get a ton of shots up his rookie year, because we got to see that from Bilal. And that was great for Bilal Coulibaly's rookie season, getting all those shots up and actually getting ample playing time. And it actually helped his development, unlike Jarris Walker of the Indiana Pacers. That really didn't get a chance to shine in his rookie season at all. So I don't want Reese Shea to go to the middle of the bench right away. I want this guy. He's a 2nd overall pick in the draft. Let's get him into the starting lineup, right? Like, this is a guy that you're going to give $8-9 million a year to on the back end of that rookie deal because he's the second overall pick in this draft. Let's play Reese Ashe. Dude, they need a point guard. They need a rim protector. So this would not solve that issue whatsoever. You could run maybe some point Denny next year. I mean, I could definitely be intrigued on that. They can maybe try to model like point Zion or point Aaron Gordon and what we've seen from those guys at points of this season. And Washington could be in play for Reese Ashe if they figure out or think he's the second best guy in this draft. I think I kind of like Ron Holland for them still, or Buzelis more than Reese Ashe, because I think they have better half-court potential, and Holland definitely is the better defensive potential, but Reese Ashe is the better shooter out of the three right now. But will that end up progressing enough where he's knocked down from threes, he can create his own shot in the half-court, and he can play above-average defense? That's the dream, and I'm just trying to figure out a way that this team has Denny, Bilal, and Reese Ashe, and you hope at their peak they can all play make, they can all dribble, they can all shoot. I mean, Denny's getting closer to his ceiling. We still got a lot of room for Reese Ashe and Bilal, but this team kind of needs a facilitator and needs a rim protector as well. Watch them give Isaiah Hartenstein the bag. Even though Hartenstein's a good rim protector, he's not elite by any means. He's a good rebounder, but people, I hope, don't start thinking that he's like Rudy Gobert out there now, or someone that's like at the top end of the defensive part, like spectrum of the league of these top guys out there. I still rather have Miles Turner than Isaiah Hartenstein. I don't know, though. Isaiah Hartenstein has been phenomenal for the Knicks in the playoffs as they picked up a Game 5 win last night. Man, I was so let down on Mother's Day. They got blown out. No OG. Probably no OG for the rest of the series, but they just proved they could win by 30 without OG Anunoby. Now, it was at the Garden. This series is probably going to go to 7. So we have the Rockets selecting Reed Sheppard at 3 here. I mocked this myself, so I really can't criticize this. And Reed Sheppard killed the combine. This dude solidified himself, I think, as a top 5 pick with his measurements. This dude is a knockdown shooter. It is the same release every time. It's quick, and that is something like people loved Bronny James's shooting combine. Obviously, he shot well, but that release is slow, and it's not great for someone at 6'1". Sheppard is 6'3"-ish, 6'4". And his shot is quick, and it looks beautiful. The form is there. He's NBA ready with the shot, and he's got a good handle. He can play make. You worry about the defense for sure, but I think he can play off ball as well. And this dude can jump out of the gym. He's like we've seen the athleticism from guys like Dante DiVincenzo. Sheppard, maybe not as tall and fully athletic as DiVincenzo, but I wouldn't be surprised if he can mold into that role. I mean, Sheppard is still just 19 years old. He's 19. I think he'll be fine. And the Rockets are playing with house money at 3. So I like the idea of Sheppard at 3. I don't think they would take Klingon like you're taking a backup. I don't think him and Şengün really work out. You could take Topic if you think a men could play off ball, which I don't know, maybe a debate in its own right. And what are you doing with Jalen Green going forward? So yeah, Reed Sheppard 3 to the Rockets. I like that because he can kind of play all over. Next up, we have the Spurs getting Nikola Topic. Also cool with this as well. I'm cool with the Spurs getting like Sheppard or Topic or Dillingham at number 4. Just more guard play. Some guys that could flirt with playing the 1. Topic definitely the best facilitator out of those 3. Dillingham probably the best overall scorer, but I think Sheppard could be the better all-around guy. But Topic is somebody that can play make, initiate, good size, can run the pick and roll. He's still just 18 years old. The injury doesn't look too serious, and actually could be a great fit with Wemby in San Antonio. And if he's on the board at 4, like if he doesn't go 2 to Washington, doesn't go 3 to Houston, which I don't think is too likely, this has to be the pick. San Antonio, I love Dillingham. I love his shot creation. I love his scoring and his shooting, but you got to go Topic here because I think there are some limitations with Dillingham as a facilitator in this league. Next up, we have Montes Buzelis going to the Pistons at 5. I've seen this mocked a ton. I mean, Buzelis, Holland, Castle, those 3 guys, if any of them had a jumper, they would be maybe the number 1 pick in this draft. Buzelis is definitely the worst defender out of the 3, but he actually had good, I've been digging into the high school statistics, and he was a good shooter before the G League Ignite. So, you know what? One down year, one bad environment. The form looks good. He's got a good handle, great size, and someone that can defend as well in the half court. I could see the appeal for this at 5 if you think, honestly, I like Buzelis. I'm starting to like him a little bit more because the shot could be poor in year 1, but as long as it just continues to improve and you're going to buy into that he has the mental characteristics that he is going to develop his outside shot and he's going to put in the work in. And this is obviously something we don't know because we're not interviewing him, but that's something like Troy Weaver and the Pistons front office is going to have to realize this guy will be a knockdown shooter for us in year 3, year 4 of that rookie deal, and is going to earn himself that rookie extension. And if he does that, this dude is going to be a beautiful complementary piece to Cade Cunningham. If he's somewhat able to create his own shot, he can knock down some threes, he can cut, he can slash, and he can actually be kind of like versatile for you in the offensive half court. Because I think you look at this team construction right now, you're not getting that from Ausar Thompson. You're getting other things. You're getting like your slashing and cutting from Ausar, but you're really prioritizing him as your best on-ball defender. When you're going up against like the Boston Celtics, you're putting Ausar Thompson on Jason Tatum. When you're going up against the Cavs, you're putting him on Mitchell. When you're going up against the Knicks, you're putting him on Brunson, right? Like that's something that Ausar Thompson has a specified role for. If he doesn't carve out a good shot in this league, it's probably going to be fine as long as he's still uses his athleticism in the half court, and Buzelis could be kind of a complementary piece to that. Somebody that you can kind of hide defensively for sure next to Ausar, but he will hold his own. He's going to get stronger, and I think he can develop some shots and actually have some playmaking ability as well. So I've kind of talked myself into the next couple of days that I'm perfectly fine with Buzelis going in the top 5. I think it still would be high at 2 to Washington. I could see the appeal and they may fall in love with him, but I think Detroit at 5, if you didn't want to take another primary defender like in Holland, like a Castle, I could see that. But you better hope that Buzelis' shot develops. It definitely looks better than Ron Holland's jumper, because watching it up close, I don't love the form, but he did shoot fine in the drills. Stephon Castle shot well in the drills as well. He's someone that got great defense. They actually had an error with his measurements. So they have him going 6 to Charlotte. They had him measured in as like 6'2", 6'3", and everyone's like, what? He's 6'6". And then the NBA came out that it was an error and a mistake, and he's actually, 6'6". So Castle, like, prioritizes defense. He could be an off-ball guy. And if his spot-up shot is there, man, that is a beautiful fit in Charlotte between Brandon Miller and LaMelo Ball. But the same questions with Ron, same questions with Buzelis. Will he buy into his shot enough? And will the form, which I think looks fine, develop where he is a good shooter by the end of that rookie deal? Because he's someone that also, I think they need to prioritize defense. I do. And I could see the appeal of Klingon here if you don't think Mark Williams is healthy enough long-term to be your consistent guy at the 5. But Klingon's had his issues before with his health. So I think getting Castle prioritizes defense, and you hope Mark Williams is fully healthy. And him and Miller on the perimeter, pretty good. Miller was fine as a defender next year, and I think he's going to be fine. If LaMelo actually bought in, he'd be a good defender as well. And Castle is someone that could also he can also guard the opposing team's best player at his peak for sure. And you kind of try to model him as like the Ausar Thompson in Detroit. Definitely less athletic, but I think could be an overall better basketball player because I think the shot looks a lot better. So at 7, we have Portland going Donovan Klingon. What does Portland need, right? Everything and like nothing at the same time. Like, you think that their starting 5 is set next year. Scoot, Simons, Sharp, Grant, Aiden. They're paying a lot of money to Aiden and Grant. They're paying a lot of money to Malcolm Brogdon off the bench. They're paying decent money to Rob Williams and Matisse Thybulle, who are going to come off the bench and are primarily known for their defense and not their offense. But Williams hasn't stayed healthy, so that's where Donovan Klingon comes in. And it sucks because we haven't seen Robert Williams in so long, where I don't know if a team's giving up a first-round pick for him. Maybe if a team's desperate, like OKC, one of the late first. Maybe Washington would give up a first, like the one in the 20s. I don't know, though, right? I don't really know if they would at this point because we don't know how Rob Williams is looking long-term with his health. So Klingon could be appeal at 7. There's some guys with higher upside for sure. In Cody Williams, in Ron Holland, in Rob Dillingham. Dillingham really wouldn't make a lot of sense. You'd be playing him off ball, which is fine, but then I think that would only make sense if you move Simons this offseason, which I'm honestly like all for. If they can get multiple first-round picks for Simons, I would probably do that. I think he's capped on this team, and I think what you're going to eventually get from Sharp, because I'm still a big believer in Shaedon Sharp, you're going to get out of Anthony Simons, but I think at a better level. Like, you're going to get, I think Simons is 3-level scoring, but even with more athleticism in Sharp and better defense with Sharp. And you have your primary point guard in Scoot Henderson. This is your franchise guy. Let's continue his development, and getting Klingon could be a nice pick-and-roll partner as well, and could be a better rim protector than DeAndre Ayton. So big offseason for Portland to figure out the identity of this roster going forward and use these draft picks because they got 2 lottery ones. We're going to go through these lottery picks kind of in depth, and then we'll go quicker outside the lottery and in the second round. So San Antonio at 8 getting Rob Dillingham. So they get Topic and Dillingham in this mock. You know what? I kind of like it. I don't hate it because Dillingham, I don't think he's going to be someone that's going to average 7-8 assists in the NBA one day. I think he's someone that's going to be kind of a primary scorer, either off the bench or in the starting 5. There's going to be some defensive issues. I think he measured in the combine without shoes at like 6'1", 160. With shoes, he's close to 6'3". And he's not 175 like it says here, because this is obviously before the combine, and his last mock was second. So 8, I think, is good value for Dillingham, because this dude is one of the best shooters in this draft. I think like pure shots, there's 5 guys that are, I think, my top 5 shooters in this draft. There's some guys on the outside looking in, like Keyshawn George or Bub Carrington, but my top 5 shooters, probably Reed Shepherd 1, Rob Dillingham maybe 2, Jared McCain 3, Johnny Furphy 4, Dalton Connect 5. Maybe Connect is better than Furphy right now, but Furphy's shot is going to look really good one day. I think Dillingham can give San Antonio that floor spacing, and you could be, if like Topic is going to be a fine defender, and you still have faith in Vassell's defense and Sohan's defense, and obviously you have faith in Wemby's defense, that will be okay. That Dillingham isn't the greatest defender in the world, but you have to be okay with some of the ball stopping that I think he will bring to San Antonio, but that will be fine if he's kind of running that second unit this offseason. I wonder if they do trade that pick. Memphis at 9 getting Ron Holland. I love this fit for Ron. This is huge because he goes to Memphis. I mean, that team's had plenty of off-the-court issues. But I would like for Holland to go into a good organization, and that is Memphis, right? Like, Zach Kleiman has done a great job there. Taylor Jenkins, same thing. Yes, you've had your issues with John Morant, but hopefully those are behind him. And you're going into a winning environment right away. Memphis is going to be competing for an NBA title next year. Will they win it? I mean, the odds aren't in their favor, but they're a team that was the 2 seed last year and still have the similar roster, and they've added Marcus Smart, and they're going to add a top 10 pick this year, and they've added young guys like Vince Williams and Gigi Jackson, where Holland is going to expect to help them compete for a championship from day one, which is a great environment for him. He's someone that's a winner. He's very competitive out there, and he wants to win. I do think it would not be the greatest environment, actually, if he ended up in a Washington or even a Charlotte at times as well. So I'm glad he's going to a good organization in this mock in Memphis, and he could be a very good defender in this league for sure. And you hope that shot develops. I mean, he has this comparison to Cam Whitmore. I mean, the shot isn't as nice as Cam Whitmore's, but I think it will be okay at the NBA level because his defense is legit. We have Dalton Connect going to the Jazz at 10. First time I've seen Connect mocks at the Jazz. I guess Jazz fans, you guys can let me know what you want at number 10. Do you want a guard? Do you want a wing? Do you just want shooting? Do you want defense? I think there's no great point guard. I mean, I actually wouldn't mind Isaiah Collier at 10 if you think Keontae George is better off ball. That's also kind of like Colin Sexton, who was very good last year. And I think Connect, at his peak, I think is better than Jordan Clarkson for sure. And he's 22 years old right now, so I don't think he's going to get much better. But he's someone, day one, that could score the rock. He would be coming off the bench because you would assume Lowry's going to start. I hope they still have a lot invested into Taylor Hendricks and he starts. And you hope Walker Kessler bounces back in year 3. But I like this. Someone, like the Jazz want to make the playoffs next year. They want to extend Lowry. They want to make the playoffs. And not be in this limbo, like fringe playing tournament team they've been for the last 2 years. Because last year was great. Last year they exceeded expectations. Marketed one most improved. They hosted the All-Star game. Vibes were high. We're like, we're going in a great direction. We have all these picks. Now your pick's going to be top 10 protected next year again, but you're going to go into next season. If you miss the playing tournament again for the 3rd straight year with this roster, you're going to be a little disappointed in that. And Larry Markkinen, if he doesn't sign an extension, you can't afford to lose him for nothing. So you hope you either get an extension done, or if it comes down to it, you end up trading him. But I think Connect can help you try to make the playoffs next year. It's tough, though, in the West, because you assume all the teams that made it this year are going to try to make it again next year. Like, you would assume New Orleans, even if they moved Ingram. You assume the Suns. You assume the Clippers, these first-round exit teams. You assume the Lakers. And then you have teams that didn't make it this year that are going to be right in that conversation, like Houston, like Golden State, like Sacramento. You expect Utah to take a jump. I just talked about Memphis, right? It's going to be tough for Utah to make the playoffs. Some teams will be disappointed next year. So at number 11, we have Cody Williams to the Bulls. I like this, man. This is a good fit for them. I had a dumb tweet yesterday, if you follow me on Twitter. He was like holding his face, and I was like decently far from him. He was like sitting under the bench, and I thought he was Alex Sarr because they both have a similar haircut, and they're both like lanky as hell. And I was like, oh, that's Alex Sarr. Nope, that was Cody Williams. So that was an embarrassing moment for me. I tweeted that out. I guess if you have notifications on my Twitter, you probably saw that. But yeah, Cody Williams to the Bulls at 11. I like this for them. I love Isaiah Collier. Maybe as a prospect more than Cody Williams, but this is great for Chicago. That's hopefully doing somewhat of a reset this offseason. Move on from DeRozan, trade Levine, and then I would trade Caruso if you can, unless you're going to extend Caruso, but I wouldn't overpay for Caruso. I mean, Caruso is great, but if you can get one good first, one mediocre first for Caruso, do that this offseason. And let's have White, DeSumo, Williams go forward. I would even try to bring back Patrick Williams on a 2-year deal maybe. I don't know where he's going this offseason and does he want to go back to Chicago. But Cody Williams is someone that at his peak could be a very good defender and could be someone that could create his own shot in the half court. And I think Chicago would be a good place for him. I do. I would be a fan of that. And I'm sure the Thunder would be upset about him not falling to 12. Oh, Tyler Smith. This is the highest I've seen him out of any outlet outside of me. All right, Wasserman. I'm a big fan of Tyler Smith. You guys know that. He was 20th in his last mock, and he has him going 12 to OKC here. Hell yeah, man. I'm a huge fan of that. I am. All right, let's go. I mean, he struggled in some of the shooting drills. He went 4 for 10 in the free throws as well, but obviously such a small sample size at the combine. But this dude's shot looks so good. So good. Now, rebounding-wise and physicality inside, you probably opt for E. Misi here from Baylor if you're looking for a big for OKC. I mean, they could look to try to bring in a Claxton or a Harnstein this offseason. But, man, I like Tyler Smith in OKC. Hell yeah, Wasserman. I love that, man. That's a great mock right there. I'm glad to see him high. Jared McCain to the Kings at 13. I've mocked this before. I think I had Isaiah Collier going like 15 in my mock, and I do think it's low for him. Collier's like one of the faster players in this draft, one of the stronger point guards in this draft, and he does not go in the lottery. So he's Jared McCain going to the Kings at 13. I've mocked this before as well. They need shooting, and with Malik Monk potentially leaving in this offseason, that could be huge for them. I do wonder if they trade this pick, though. And then Portland getting Jacoby Walter at 14. Hey, you're getting high upside out of Walter here at 14, someone that I think could eventually develop into a 3-and-D guy as well at his peak. I think he needs to know his role, and I don't know if, Chauncey Billups is a defensive-minded guy. Could he develop well under Billups? I think so. I'd like to hope that he will. And this team would eventually need to move on for some other guys, and I'd be a lot more excited about Walter in Portland than I am about Chris Murray, who was their first rounder last year that struggled in his rookie season. But I think getting Klingon and Walter pretty good. I'm glad he doesn't have any guards going to Portland. And yeah, that is pretty much the lottery for this mock. Just to recap it, basically Alex Sarr, number 1 to the Atlanta Hawks, Zachary Risache, number 2 to the Wizards. We have Reed Shepard, number 3 to the Rockets. Number 4 is going to be Topic to the Spurs. Number 5, Buzelis to the Pistons. 6, Castle to the Hornets. Klingon 7 to the Blazers. Dillingham to the Spurs at 8. Grizzlies getting Holland at 9, Jazz Connect 10, Bulls Cody Williams 11, Thunder Tyler Smith, love that, at 12, Jared McCain 13 to the Sacramento Kings, and 14 Jacoby Walter to the Blazers. All right, so 15, he has Isaiah Collier going to the Heat. Yeah, I feel like he doesn't fall any lower than this. It depends what team wants a true ball handling point guard that has a good looking shot. I worry about the free throws, but he can get to the line a ton, man. If Collier is able to knock down his free throws, this dude is going to be so good in this league. But I don't think he goes to Portland at 14. Maybe he goes to Sacramento at 13 if they like Collier over Jared McCain, or if McCain goes earlier, if they worry about McCain's defense. And Collier just backs up Fox and is an upgrade over Davion Mitchell, potentially. He could definitely go to the Thunder at 12 if they want another guard. The Bulls at 11, I hate that fit. Jazz at 10, I could definitely see. Grizzlies at 9, I could see as well. And then Spurs at 8. Yeah, that's probably the highest I'll see him. At least that's what I've seen in mocks. But 15 to the Miami Heat, that's a great value for them as they are trying to make the playoffs again next year. And we'll see what team Jimmy Butler is on, because that'll be the talk of the town this offseason. Sixers at 16 getting Khalil Ware. Wow. Highest I've seen him mocked. Khalil Ware killed the combine. He had insane measurables. This dude is athletic as hell, and the shot looked fine. I think Ware is going to be a solid center in this league. I've been higher on Ware than some other people. I've liked him more than Edey for quite some time. He's been in that tier 2 of centers, like it's Sarr and Klingon, and then it's Ware and Misi basically for me. And then Tyler Smith in that tier if you consider him a 5. But yeah, I like Ware better than Filipowski, like him better than Edey, like him better than Ulrich, like him better than Omansa as well. And Ware to Philly, good. Upgrade over Bebo Paul and someone that can help them right away next year. Terrence Shannon to the Pelicans at 17. I'm not a big fan of Terrence Shannon. He's 23 years old already. I think he could be a fine scorer, but I think that could be it. I don't love his defense. I don't love his off-ball ability at times. He's really good with the ball in his hands. And in New Orleans, maybe we see that if Ingram isn't traded for a guy that's going to create his own shot next year or demands the ball. So maybe that's not a terrible fit. But this is also via the Lakers as well. So I assume he would be going to the Lakers here. Don't know if I'm a huge fan of that. I don't know. I'm not really a big Terrence Shannon guy. Devin Carter to the Magic at 18. This dude killed the combine as well. He could jump high. He could run fast. This dude is an absolute beast of an athlete. And going to the Magic at 18 is great value. I don't know if he makes it outside the lottery. He could be in play to Sacramento at 13. Hell, he could even go to Utah at 10. Like, that could be like one of the like, oh, okay, that's high for Devin Carter. But this dude can defend, he can rebound, he can shoot, he can ball handle, he can come off the bench, start for you. He can kind of do it all. I'm a big Devin Carter guy. And I think at his peak, he's 22. I mean, yeah, I would have liked it better if he was 20 because we're closer to his peak, but he's going to be a really good player, and 18 in the Magic's great. 19, Filipowski to the Raptors. I'm not really a big fan of that. I would rather have Yves Missi in this draft. I worry about Filipowski's defense in this league, and if his shot's not falling, I don't think he's really going to be great offensively inside the paint. And Toronto, interesting fit. I'm not really a big fan of that pick. 20, Cavs interest in De Silva. Love De Silva as well. This dude is lightning quick with the ball in his hands as well. Super athletic. Can do a little bit of everything, can shoot, can pass, can dribble, can defend, can navigate pick and rolls, and can go off DHOs, can be on the opposite end of a DHO as well. This dude can like kind of do it all at a pretty good level and could help Cleveland out right away next year, and I think will eventually be better than Isaac Okoro in this league. 21, we have Tijon Salon, a little bit lower here to the Pelicans via the Bucks. They have a swap with each other, and I don't hate that. I mean, you're getting, they had Terrence Shannon, but I don't know if he would actually be going to the Pelicans. But getting Salon to New Orleans, I don't really love that fit for Salon, and I don't really like New Orleans going project play there, unless they're cool taking a little bit of a step back. I would go Yves Missi there, who they have going to the Suns at 22. I think the Suns should definitely look to add at the 5. I don't love Yusuf Nurkic. You guys kind of know that I've not been a big fan of him. I would like Tyler Kolek here at 22. I think that would be good value as well. They re-signed Grayson Allen, so I don't think there's really a need to look at like a Keyshawn George or Johnny Furphy. But I'd look at Bub Carrington and Kolek as well. But also Missi I'm okay with, so they'd have some nice options here. Bucks at 23, Zach Edey. Yeah, you know what? Fine. I would like to see Zach Edey in Milwaukee. Put him next to Giannis. You're not scoring if defensive 3 seconds gets outlawed. They need big men helping with Missi off the board. Brook Lopez is getting older. They've had bad backup big men for quite some time. I don't know if you can trust Portis as a backup 5 against some of these other big men. So go Edey here. You know what? Fine. He'd be the best big man on my board at this point, so I don't hate that. 24, the Knicks getting Keyshawn George. Love that. Give me Carrington and George back-to-back. Keyshawn George shows like really good 3D upside. I've harped on that a ton out of Miami this past season. He's still raw as a player, as his feel for the game, where to be in the half court to find his open shots, but I think he will be great for the Knicks, and I think he's like kind of like a Quentin Grimes style guy that the Knicks took a couple years ago. Harrison Ingram, whoa, to the Knicks at 25. This is high. I don't know if the Knicks have a second, but I would not take Harrison Ingram here. There are way better talent on the board than Harrison Ingram, who I think is not going to be able to create his own shot. He's too passive at times. He's a good 3-point shooter. Don't get me wrong. He could definitely space the floor. He's a small 6'7", I would say. He does not look 6'7" out there when I was watching him at the Combine yesterday. But I think there's just higher upside guys here. If you want like his shooting ability, that could be a better ball handler eventually. Go Bub Carrington or Johnny Furphy. Ryan Dunn, I mean, he's going to have a shooting question mark, so maybe you don't want to take him at 25. But yeah, look at Furphy, look at Carrington. There are better talent on the board. I'd rather even have like Jalen Tyson or AJ Mitchell or KJ Simpson over Harrison Ingram at 25. I think that's a reach. But Kobe Dadiet going to the Wizards at 26. I like this. So they get Risa Shea and Dadiet. I'm sure Wizards college fans would love that, just not even knowing who these guys are. But he's 18, one of the younger guys in this class, has a beautiful looking jumper, great size at 6'8". This is a project play, but I think he could be really good on the back end of his rookie deal if you give him time to develop, and that could be one of the more perfect spots in Washington. But they don't get any positions they need in this draft. They don't get a guard. They don't get a big man. They get Risa Shea and Dadiet. A lot of forwards there. Adding Kispert and Kuzma as well. We have Tyler Kolek going to the Timberwolves at 27. Big fan of that. I think Kolek could even go a little bit higher. And I think his jumper will play as well. Jalen Tyson to the Nuggets at 28. Could see this for sure. Nuggets kind of like their Pac-12 guys, I feel like as well. RIP to the Pac-12. But Tyson, good looking jumper, strong, I think can contribute right away. Definitely doesn't have as high as a ceiling as some of these other guys. Johnny Furphy going to the Jazz at 29. Love that. I think that's really good value. His shot, I think, is NBA ready, so I would be very shocked if he made it to the 29th overall pick. And Celtics at 30, they get De'Ron Holmes, who I could have mentioned before with big man. Sorry when I was mentioning Ware and stuff. I have Holmes like right in that ED tier. I don't think he's going to be a solid shooter in this league. I worry the form isn't great. I think he's more of an inside guy, and I think he's someone that is going to be, I think, your typical like rim runner center, like your inside presence, but Boston could definitely use that, an upgrade over Cornette, and maybe they don't bring back Tillman. So let's run through this second round. Bobby Klintman going to the Raptors at 31. That's good value. I like Klintman to the Raptors at 31 way more than I like Filipowski going there. So that's a good pick. We have Kevin McCullough, who I think could definitely be a first-round pick. I didn't see him at the Combine. Not sure why he didn't attend. I mean, he's older as a prospect. But yeah, he goes to the Jazz at 23. And maybe he was in the Combine last year as well. Good value again. So the Jazz getting some nice picks there. I mean, they get Furphy at 29. They got Connect at 10. And then you're getting McCullough at 32. Yeah, all those guys can help you next year. And they go double up on Kansas guys. 33 Milwaukee Bucks getting KJ Simpson. Oh, so the Milwaukee Bucks have a top second this year. They have the Blazers second. I'm a fan of that for sure, actually. I think that's great. If they don't go guard like a Kolek and they get Eve Misi and KJ Simpson, that'd be 2 thumbs up for me if that ended up happening. We have Dylan Jones going to the Blazers at 34. Great looking jumper. Kind of a weird build, like a stockier guy. Definitely does not look as tall as 6'6", but has a good looking jumper and a good feel for the game as well. Blazers just having so many wings. Bob Carrington going to the Spurs at 35. I mean, you're getting Topic, Dillingham, and Carrington. A ton of guards in this draft, a ton of point guards in this draft. I don't think Carrington makes it out of the first round. His jumper is legit. Good ball handling ability, good defensive upside. 6'5" point guard, 18 years old. Yeah, if I want my Knicks to take him at 24 or 25. Alex Karaban to the Pacers at 36. He's been okay at the Combine, but I think his feel for the game is great. Good cutter, good slasher. He could still opt out of the draft and go back to college, but he is someone that is right away. Wait, he can go back to college? He's 23 and he can go back to college? Is that correct? Wait a second. I'm kind of curious about that because I'm pretty sure he can go back to college. And is he 23? So he'd be 24 next year. God damn, the 5th year thing is crazy. Yeah, he was redshirted as a freshman. Oh my God, he's only a sophomore? Is that right? Is his age actually 23? I didn't think so. Let's see, age. How old is Alex Karaban? He's 21. Okay, so they got that wrong. He is born in 02. Yeah, he's going to turn 22 in November. All right, so that is wrong. I was about to say, like, what? That is crazy. Peyton Sanford at 37 to the Timberwolves. I'm not a big fan of Sanford's game. I think he can go back to college as well. And yeah, it has him listed as a senior, Karaban. So yeah, that's wrong. And then Sanford, I'm not a huge fan of his game, his feel for the game. And if he's not hitting his shots, he's not really worth being out there. Knicks getting Ryan Dunn at 38. Love that. If the Knicks can get Ryan Dunn in the second, and the first, I'm okay with it. His defense is so good, but his shot is so bad. It's so bad. And I don't know if it's ever going to develop. It's going to be too inconsistent. But C. Stible's like the perfect pro comp. Memphis getting AJ Mitchell at 39. Great value. Holland and Mitchell. Love that for them. Blazers getting Ulrich Chomsky here. He had one of the nicest chase down blocks. Even knocked down a 3 in the Combine games on Tuesday. And I think for Portland, why not? Get Klingon and him. He's someone that could definitely benefit from being in your G League. Baylor Shireman, he's looked fantastic in the Combine. Good personality. Beautiful looking jumper. Think that could be huge for Philadelphia. Charlotte going Jamal Sheed at 42. I worry about his offensive game in the half court. I don't think he's going to be a great shooter, but a good defender, and that's what Charlotte could definitely use. Pelle Larson, I like his jumper going to the Heat at 43. Really good feel for the game. Good handle as well. Cam Christie, 44 to the Rockets. I wonder if he goes back to college because he's 18 years old. He played at Minnesota, like the best Minnesota player since, I guess, like Amir Coffey. And he shot the ball well last year, 39% from 3. I just wanted to double check. Yeah, like true freshman, obviously. He didn't participate in the 5v5s. I don't know why. Unless he's getting already good intel, he's going to go top half of the second. But yeah, getting I think that's a good pick for the Rockets at 44. I think he's the younger brother of Max Christie, but I could be wrong. Kings getting Justin Edwards at 45. He's actually looked pretty good so far in the Combine. His game, I think, is slower than it needs to be, but he actually could develop a good shot in this league. Kings at 45 is fine. I like Jackson Robinson's shot as well, going to the Clippers at 46. Magic getting Melvin Ajinka, not the biggest fan at 47, but he could develop maybe somewhat of a shot and floor spacing ability for them. PJ Hall to the Spurs at 48. I mean, getting all those guards, might as well get Hall. I think that's solid value at 48. We have at 49, Hunter Salas of the Pacers, also good value. Can dribble, can pass, can shoot. Guys you want there. Pacers getting a Dem Bone at 50. I don't know if Bone is going to be a first-round pick, but you watch this guy. He is a freak. He might be one of the more athletic guys in this draft, and he runs up and down the floor. If the Knicks took him at 38, like as a Knicks fan, or 24 and 25, I'm a big fan of that. Pacers at 50, great, immediate Jalen Smith replacement, and they've had issues rebounding against the Knicks. I mean, a lot of teams had, but he's someone that's going to crash the boards. He's going to hustle his ass off. He's built like a freak, man. This dude is one of the stronger guys in this class. He's an absolute unit. 50 is great value. In my final 2-round mock, he's going top 40, maybe top 35. Wizards getting Jalen Bridges at 51. A lot of people on Twitter like Jalen Bridges a ton. I mean, his shot looks good, and I think at 51 is really good value. I just don't think I would take him in the first. Tristan Newton to the Warriors at 52. I don't think he's really as athletic as you'd want in a guy, and I think he may get, like, he's 6'5". Doesn't feel like he's 6'5" out there, but I think could still be in play for an end of a second rounder. Oso Ighodaro, Pistons 53. I worry about, like, he's just too passive with the ball in his hands at times, but this dude is an amazing passer for somebody that's 6'11", 230. Like, his passes are crisp, they're clean, and he knows where to find the open man. But I think if he could just develop, like, that Isaiah Hartenstein, like, floater inside, like, those big men that could just have a great touch around the rim, he could definitely carve out a nice NBA career. Maybe be this year's Trae Jackson-Davis. We have Coleman Hawkins going to the Celtics at 54. Solid passer, fine shooter. Worry about the athleticism. I really wouldn't take him here. Antonio Reeves going to the Lakers at 55. Shot creating is good. Kind of also looks small like Tristan Newton out there at 6'6". A little bit older as a player as well. But I think, like him and Newton, they would be worth late seconds. Cam Spencer going to the Nuggets at 56. Man, I felt bad for Cam. First game, he shot 2 for 12. And I think Cam's a fine player. And I think he should definitely go in the end of the second. It's like your Newtons, your Reeves, your Cam Spencers of the world. Take these guys with higher floors and the maybe lottery tickets that you hope pan out. Like N'Faly Dante, not really a big fan of him or his feel for the game. But hey, maybe he's going to be fine. He goes to Memphis here at 57. They need some big man help, and they had Cam Spencer going to the Nuggets at 56, which is a good fit, and Reeves went to the Lakers at 55. 58, we have Isaac Jones going to the Mavericks at 58. Really cool story. He was in the G League showcase over the weekend. He was one of like the 4 guys with like Boogie Ellis and some other guys that ended up getting the call up to the combine, and he's got a good shot. Solid feel for the game. I think at 58 could be some good value. Some obviously notable guys didn't end up getting drafted in the Bleacher Report mock, but I thought this was a pretty good one, and honestly I liked it more than ESPN's. So if you guys did enjoy this on YouTube, I would appreciate you dropping a thumbs up, and if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, a rating and review can go such a long way as well, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.